Yay Networks.
The baby only knows that world, right? That is their world that they know, and they feel safe and they feel secure, and they're getting their food and they're getting their love and they're growing and all the things. Then one day they go through a dark tunnel and all these people are there welcoming them into this new world where they're going to give them hugs and kisses and love, and they're going to continue to grow, and they're going to experience all new things that they didn't even know because they were in the womb.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Happily Ever Amber podcast. I am your host, Amber. I am so happy to be here with you. I am so excited. On today's episode, we have Amanda Kloots. If you don't know Amanda, you need to. You should follow her for sure on Instagram. She will bring joy and sunshine in your life. This woman has been through it all. She just faces every day with resilience, and I love it, and I love her so much. There's so much in her journey that has given me inspiration in my own life, going through a very traumatic divorce, facing life's daily challenges, raising neurodivergent children, finding love again with Jeff. I've been through it, and some days are challenging, and when I have those days, I go on my Instagram and I find the people like Amanda who really have been through it all, but show up every day. And even after a loss, she still finds joy. And that's the thing, like in grief, there's growth. And that's really hard to see when you're in it, when you're in the mud, but it's true. That's what this life is about. And I'm so happy that Amanda's here. We are going to be talking about all things when it comes to helping Elvis understand where Daddy is now, and understanding where she is in finding her love and how she handles grieving on a daily basis. I'm so excited to have Amanda on, and I hope you guys enjoy this episode. Thank you so much for coming over.
You're
I'm so
welcome.
excited to have you here and
Thank
to
you.
see you, and just even giving you a hug. You have, God, you have been such a beacon of light and hope for so many people.
Thank you. That's really sweet.
And you go on Instagram, that's where I follow you. And I've been following you for so long, and just seeing your journey, it makes me realize, like, okay, there is good in the world, and you can go on Instagram to get inspiration and find joy, right? And I think for me, this is what this podcast is about. It's just about finding those little micro, nano moments of happiness in your life. So
yeah, somebody just said, my dance teacher actually just wrote this on her Instagram page. It's called a glimmer. I don't know if it's like a new word, but it's when you find moments of joy in your day or your week or your month, it's called glimmer. And so I was like, I love that. And so then I wrote to her back and I said, your Monday night dance classes are a glimmer in my day. And she was like, I love you. And I was like, I love you.
Wait, I want to talk about dance, because I love when I see you. You like really inspire me so much in so many ways. But when I see you dance, I'm like, oh my God, I have to go to dance class, because I find, and correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like I see you dancing as like a therapy, like as a way to.
It is.
Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I never thought dance was a therapy. I mean, I grew up dancing every single day, and then danced professionally on Broadway and with the Radio City Rockettes for 15 years of my life. It was my job. It was my career, and I loved dance, but I never really connected it to therapy until I did Dancing with the Stars. So that was season 30, so 2 years ago. It was a year after I had lost Nick, and I, for all intents and purposes, hadn't really, I have done a lot of therapy about, what happened to me, but I hadn't moved my body in and danced since I was, on Broadway. So being back in a rehearsal room and learning something new all the time, and having a partner that I was connecting with and dancing with and growing with every day, and we got so close. It just reminded me how much I love to dance and how much it's such a healing thing for me. And so that whole process was just like a huge weight off my shoulders in my healing journey. And then after that stopped, I stopped dancing. I was, because you're like, what do you do now?
Yeah.
And so then a couple different therapists had told me that I need to connect to my 12-year-old self. Like 3 different therapists said that to me. And
so you're like, okay, if 3 different people are coming, I better do it.
It's true. And it's not, and I don't do traditional talk therapy. I do like all kinds of different kinds of therapies, but 3 different people said it. And I was like, oh, this is annoying. Okay, fine. Like if something comes at me that many times, I'm like, obviously this is a sign.
Yeah.
So I started thinking like, what did I do every day when I was 12? And I was like, I loved riding my bike when I was 12. Like I loved getting, on my bike in my neighborhood. And I was like, oh my God, I danced every day. So then I found this Monday night dance class that I started going to. And I realized that as soon as like 5 minutes into the class, I was like, oh my God, this is now my new therapy. And it is like, there's just something about, I could have like the worst day or be judging myself all day or thinking I'm ugly that day or, all the different things that we think about ourselves in a day. And I go to dance class and I dance it all out. And you have, 60 plus women in there, all shapes and sizes, and some men too sometimes, cheering each other on and just like letting go and having fun. And it is literally my favorite therapy, Monday night therapy.
I love that so much. So my youngest daughter, Riley's 9. And then I have a 13-year-old daughter, and they're so different. And I could definitely tell that, like, my oldest one, London, she loves to talk. Like, I can't get her to stop talking. Where London or Riley has this guard up, but she dances. And I've really made the connection watching you going, wait a second, like, that's how she expresses herself and moves that like energy wherever it's stuck or she needs to let it out. You learn it. Different things work for different people. And I love that. And especially with kids, when you have more than one, you realize like it's not one size fits all. You kind of have to figure out what's going to help them get through tough moments. Do you ever feel like, or when you're dancing, do you ever just start crying? Are there moments of just overwhelming? Because I feel like that happens to me sometimes if I'm going for a run and I'm listening to a song or something just like hits me and I'm like, and now I'm sobbing, but but it needs to come out.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, I think that's the thing is, yes, the answer is yes. I mean, well, also I can cry at the drop of a hat usually.
Riley, I was literally just telling my producer, I said I wear my emotions on my sleeves and I literally could watch a Huggies baby commercial and sob.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's like a blessing and a curse.
Yeah, totally. But I think the thing with dances, and this might even be your daughter's case, is like, the thoughts that we think in our head are so, sometimes can be so horrible. Like what's the quote about like, if you actually said the things that were in your head, like you would never say them to somebody else, but why are you saying them to yourself inside your head or something like that? I'm paraphrasing. But the greatest thing I think about taking a dance class is, or any class really, I take a lot of fitness classes for the same exact reason, even though I'm a personal trainer and I could train myself and I do, but I love going to class because it helps me get out of my head. I'm not thinking about anything else other than what the person's teaching me, and especially dance, because you really have to pay attention. It's not necessarily like a fitness class where you do 8 bicep curls and you can still be thinking about something else. Like dance, you really have to focus on what's my body doing, what's the choreography, what's coming up next. So for that hour and a half or whatever, you're completely out of your head. You're out of the space that you were in. Now you're in a fully new space, listening to hopefully amazing, inspirational, fun, exciting
you're
music.
Engaged. You're engaged.
Yeah, and you're moving your body and you're challenging yourself. And so, and getting out of your comfort zone. That's like a new really big thing for me is like, just get out of your comfort zone. Like stop being so stuck.
Do you have moments with Elvis where you just turn on music and you dance?
Oh yeah, all the time. And when we watch Dancing with the Stars, he doesn't let me watch the dancers' performances. He makes me dance while they're dancing.
Oh my gosh, he wants a performance too at the same time.
Well, we dance all the time. I love dancing with him.
Oh, that's so cute. So how is Elvis doing?
He's
with
great.
Everything?
He's great. He's 4 years old now, and I'm always obsessed with him, but I feel like I'm more and more every day obsessed. Like it's such a fun age, as you know. I mean, he's such a little man, and he's so independent, but he still wants me around, still wants to cuddle me, and still says the sweetest things to me. And we just have a really special bond. The two of us are like, well, I've said it to him since he was a little baby, but we're a team and we do things together and we help each other out. And he's just a good kid. He's a really good kid.
Yeah. Does he ask a lot of questions about Nick and like how
Yes and
have you
no.
explained like you've gone through the grieving process and you still continue every day,
Yes.
I imagine.
Yeah.
I imagine what it's like teaching a young child, right?
Yeah, it is hard. I mean, I've said very basic things because he's 4 and I want him to understand in a very simple form. So I've just, explained that his dad got sick and that he went into the hospital and he couldn't survive the sickness and so he died. And now he's with us every day and he's in heaven, but he's around you every day. You can talk to him and you can tell him anything you want and he's with you all the time. That's what we say. But yeah, I mean, he, usually when we're driving around, he starts like, asking me random questions like, so dad is in heaven? No, yes. He's like, but he died. Yes. Can I go visit him? No. Well, I want to visit him. I know. Well, why can't I visit him? Because he's in heaven. But you said he's always around. And you're like, he is. And like, so
It's also the age where you just ask a lot of questions. Like,
And-
why is the sky blue?
Yeah.
Why is this? So it's got, but I also believe that kids have this beautiful sense of like understanding something that we as adults kind of forget, right?
Yeah.
Like they're tapped into something that's so beautiful and like the curiosity. And I just can't imagine, like, again, like I just don't, how do you, I would be in fetal position doing it and you are just fucking doing it, Amanda.
Well,
you are doing it.
I was in fetal position last week. We had a tough grief day because apparently one of the kids in the school and not in, this is just a kid, this is a 4-year-old kid asking another 4-year-old kid questions about why he doesn't have a dad.
Yeah.
No one's, nothing, I don't take anything personal, especially at 4 years old.
Of course.
She, the little girl was just trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
But apparently on the playground, she was like pressing Elvis about not having a dad and where is your dad and what do you mean he died? And so she wasn't getting it. And poor little Elvis, was saying what he knows, but I guess he didn't, know exactly how to say. So apparently he just got really sad and like walked away and just like started playing by himself. So when I heard this, I like had a huge breakdown and I was in fetal position in my kitchen, crying so hard, called a friend, then screaming to Nick, and then went to bed crying, woke up with horrible puffy eyes, still crying. I cried all day and had to do 2 shows at the Talk just in a, miserable grief day. I mean, this is reality. But I'm honest about it. I don't try to hide the fact that like this is it's gonna start happening more. I mean, he's starting to understand it, and this is gonna keep happening.
The conversations it's like drilling in your kids the same thing every single day, just giving them the dialogue, hoping that eventually something will click and he'll be able to have that experience on the playground and just say, yep, my dad got sick and he passed, but he's here every day with me.
Yeah.
So you said something, I don't know exactly when it was, your friend Ashley Tisdale was sharing with you. Will you please, because I think that's so helpful for listeners and everybody. It's like, brings me to tears, and I'll probably cry, but please share it because I think it's so beautiful.
Yeah. Well, so this was right after Nick passed away. Ashley I had never met Ashley, but she had been so kind while Nick was in the hospital. And so then we connected over Instagram. And then after Nick passed away, she was pregnant with her daughter Jupiter, and I started training her. And it was lovely, actually, because it was only like once or twice a week, but it gave me something to do, which I really needed at that time. So I would go to her house and I would train her, and we just bonded instantly. She, was pregnant, and I had Elvis, who was only 1 at the time. And I had done a lot of prenatal training and stuff. So it was really nice. It was a lovely sessions. And one day she was telling me how her friend told her this sentiment about how when a woman is pregnant, the baby is growing inside the womb, and the baby only knows that world, right? That is their world that they know, and they feel safe and they feel secure, and they're getting their food and they're getting their love and they're growing and all the things. Then one day they go through a dark tunnel, and they enter the light, and all these people are there welcoming them into this new world where they're going to give them hugs and kisses and love, and they're going to continue to grow, and they're going to experience all new things that they didn't even know because they were in the womb. And she said, her friend said, what if this is like death? That, we're in the womb right now as adults in this world, but then we die and we go through a dark canal and we see a light, and on the other side are all these people that are there going, we've been waiting for you. We're so happy you're here. Now we get to love you again, and we get to grow with you, and we get to nurture you and be with you every single day. And she was like, it's just such a beautiful way to think about death, that like literally, I say 2 inches away are all the people that have passed away, that are loving us, that are holding us and comforting us and nurturing us. But now we're the babies in the womb, and they're just 2 inches away from us. We just don't know because we're in the womb.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. So I grew up in the Mormon church, and I've been through a few different religions, and lately I've been praying again, which is very shocking still to even say that, but I'm praying. Like, I've meditated and now I'm praying again. And even when I'm praying, I actually will talk to my grandma who passed, my grandfather, my cousin who passed away, because I really feel that they're there and that they're listening. And so when I heard that, I was like, yes, it could be that simple, that idea, and that just gives you so much comfort and relief.
Yeah. I think so. I mean, I talk to Nick all the time, and I ask him for specific things, and he answers. So he's there. Something's there. Yeah. Because like literally, I mean, on multiple occasions.
Has he come to you in dreams?
3 times he's come to me in dreams, and then in a really intense therapy session, he came to me. But honestly, the crazier things are literally when I've just said, Nick, I really need your help right now, blah, 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 blah. And then like instantly it happens. I mean, so he's close.
Yeah.
He's
right there.
Which I never would have thought. I mean, I grew up Christian, and I never thought that I would have this belief now. Like, in the Christian faith, you die, you go to heaven. And apparently you don't recognize anybody, and you are just, living in heaven. I mean, I don't think it says anything in the Bible about that you're able to connect with people still here on earth. I've read the Bible, but I'm not 100% sure. I don't want to, get off quote, but it's definitely something that I didn't think was going to happen in my life. And then I just started asking for signs and talking to him the way I do. And so, yeah, it's kind of expanded my belief on what happens after you die.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you do when you have moments of grief, right? Like these little moments, what are your tools? Because I imagine through therapy and things that you find worked for you, didn't work, like what are your go-to little tools that help you just like turn the day around, right? Yeah. Because we really have the power to do that.
We do. It depends, honestly. I think because the grief gamut is so wide, right? Like the day I was telling you, the other night I was telling you about earlier, that was such a low that like I said, I was literally bawling my eyes out, and I just went to bed. It was like midnight, but I went to bed because a lot of times I do think that like I'll say to myself, you know what, it's a tough day or a tough night. Like I'm just gonna take a nap or go to bed early if it's early and reset my day because tomorrow is a whole new day.
Yeah,
and that sometimes really works. Exercise is another like huge one for me.
Right.
I will make myself, even if I have no motivation, I will turn on music and at least make myself do something for 10 minutes because it immediately will help me feel better. That's my like second go-to. And then my third go-to I've been doing now for maybe 2 months, and it's really, really helped. First thing in the morning, I have like all these mantras that another therapist gave to me. And when she first told me that I had to do this every single day and say each one 21 times, I was like, there's no way I'm going to do this. There's just no way I'm going to keep up with this. But I've been doing it, and wow, it really, really, really makes a difference. Just like mantras like, I can do it. I love myself. I accept myself. I forgive myself. I'm grateful. I'm beautiful inside and out. I am magic. I'm a goddess. Like you just say all of these things. I am all of these things. Yeah. I am worthy. I am brave. I am prosperous. I am healthy. And I have to say all of these 21 times.
Yeah. Sometimes I go outside and I will act in the morning, but when my kids are getting ready for school, and I'll do the I ams. I am the light of the Most High God, evil. And then I'll do this other sort of meditations, and sometimes I get really passionate because people say you have to move your body, and now I have Riley doing it, and then sometimes my kids they walk out and they're like,
"That's so good to get your kids doing that."
But now my kids are not so much London, but Riley's really. I see that she's picking up, and so what I do now is at night I have our Alexas connected in her room, so we do a breathing meditation.
Oh, that's
amazing! Really into. I figured out how I'm like, okay, everyone ready for the breathing meditation? Play, and I hear my kids going.
Oh my God, that's amazing. I mean, imagine learning that skill at their age. I mean, what a difference it would have made in our generation if we were all breathing meditation before bed,
It's amazing. Crazy. It's really,
awesome.
Really changed.
You're a good mom. That's a great thing to do.
I'm trying. There was something I was going to ask you, but I'll go to... You have such a beautiful relationship with your sister.
Oh,
and I love that. It reminds me so much. So I'm the middle child, so I have an older and younger. So when I see you guys, I imagine she's been a huge part of your life, especially now. She's showed up for you, which is you don't have to, right?
Yeah.
And she has.
I'm very lucky. I have a brother and 3 sisters.
Oh, wow.
There's 5 of us. And we are very, very close. All of us are extremely close. The same bond I have with Anna, I have with all of my sisters. Anna is as equally on Instagram as much as I am. And because she has a job that she's a writer, and she's sort of always been like me, have kind of weird freelancy jobs, we are able to see each other the most because she's like, I'm going to be here, so then I'll fly there and I'll meet you there. And I'm like, okay, well, Elvis and I can meet you there. Or before I had Elvis, it was the same thing. We would be living in New York City, and because we both didn't really have real jobs, I'd be like, what are you doing? Want to go get manicures? And be like, okay. But, so my other sisters live in Houston and Connecticut. They're moms, and they're so busy, and they honestly could care less about Instagram. They don't run their lives on Instagram. Anna and I both have a lot of jobs that we run through Instagram, so they don't have to be on it. So people don't know that I have other siblings, but I do.
I am so sorry to the 4 other siblings that I just left out. No, honestly,
I just wanted to give them a huge shout out because we're all very close.
That's even better though.
Yeah.
That's your tribe.
Oh, it is. I mean, honestly, it is. I mean, and even during the pandemic, Anna and my brother Todd, they were living with me and were with me and helping me. And I couldn't get through it without them. But my mom and dad ended up coming out and helping me so much too. And Allison and Tracy were doing what they could. Allison was pregnant in Ohio, so she couldn't travel, of course, with the pandemic. And then my sister in Houston has 3 children of her own. So it was impossible for them to come, but they were also helping as much as they could too. I mean, it was like a all hands on deck moment. But Anna and I have a very, very, very special bond, and I love her dearly. And she's sort of Elvis's second, not sort of, she is Elvis's second mother. And I always say, if all else fails, Annie, maybe, if men don't work out in our lives, we could just, the 2 of us could live together, raise Elvis and be sister wives.
Oh my God, that sounds amazing. I always say that to my best friend. She has 3 boys, and I'm like, can we just find a compound in Los Angeles where the kids, her 3 boys can go ride their dirt bikes and my kids could, but it's too expensive in LA.
The more I date around, I'm like, yeah, who needs a man? Anyways, they're lucky.
speaking of dating, I don't know how comfortable, by the way, we don't even have to talk about this. But
Oh, it's fine.
How is it? I mean,
It's been really tough. Yeah. I mean, I think it's just been tough because I know what I want. I think I'm looking for like an awesome person that is also ready to be in like a serious relationship. And it's funny, like I've been married twice. I have a child. I'm not even looking for like, I want to get married in 4 months. If I never got married again, I'd be fine.
yeah.
I'm just looking for like an awesome kick-ass life partner.
Right.
And, it's just been tough. I think I've had 2 beautiful marriages, and even though my first one ended in a divorce, there was a lot of beauty in it. So, at this point, it's just I can very clearly say like, okay, I want to keep seeing you or I don't. And I pretty much know quickly,
Yeah. And that's so nice. I think that's something you learn when you go through marriage and divorce, or just as you get older, you just kind of know what you want and you don't have time for the bullshit. You're just like, okay, next, thank you. It's like so nice. And I learned something new about myself in this short period of time. But yeah, same thing for me.
Yeah.
I was married 8 years and it was a pretty crazy relationship, and we're co-parenting, we're trying to, and it's tough. But now I met Jeff, who I've known for 7.5 years. We've been engaged for 4, something like that. It's like he lives in Camarillo, I live here, and it's just, you're just like, the marriage thing is a little scary. The idea of it, finding right, like that's my, like, I guess that goes back to basically what the show is, right? What my purpose is, like finding your happily ever. It looks different for everybody.
Yeah, so true. Yeah, and I think, it's hard because I think men, especially in Los Angeles, if you meet a woman I'm 41 years old, they probably think like, oh my God, she probably wants to get married like right away. It's like, no, dude, I don't. I'm good. Like, I'm okay.
What are your top qualities? Like, do you want someone that like makes you laugh? Like, laughter for me is a big one.
You have to make me laugh. I have to laugh. It's funny. I've dated a couple different people recently, and one of them was so wonderful and nice, but there was like no laughter, and I was really trying hard. I was like, maybe
say something funny. Say something funny.
I was like, maybe it's fine. Like I have a lot of friends that make me laugh, so like it's totally fine, right? And my girlfriends were like, yeah, well, maybe it'll come. I'm like, maybe it'll come. It just didn't.
Yeah.
But that's okay. But yes, I have to laugh. I have to like be super goofy and be able to have fun, and then also have like an insane, awesome, deep conversation at the same time. Yes, funny would be great. Fun, adventurous. I'm a very spontaneous person. Like I, would pack my bags in an hour and, drive somewhere just to spend the weekend spontaneously. I would do it in a heartbeat. I love being spontaneous, and I love doing fun things, and I would love somebody that's like super romantic. Yeah. Because I haven't had that in my life. And I feel like I'd love to have somebody that's very, very romantic.
I don't know. I'm very intuitive. I don't think your guy's here in LA.
Oh no.
But he'll be here. He'll be here, and he's going to love you so much. He's going to
What am I supposed to
move
do?
to LA.
I have to stay in LA. Okay.
I was going to say.
He's coming to LA is what you said. Okay.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just putting it out there.
No, what's so funny is I just had this awesome medium session, and she was saying some pretty crazy stuff.
Oh, wow.
Like stuff that...
I love this shit. Please tell me.
No,
Was it Faye? Do you know Faye?
No, it was not. Okay. I don't know a Faye, but it was not Faye. She's amazing. She was telling me things that only I know.
What?
And she was it was awesome. But she said to me, it was really sweet. She goes, Nick is working on this. She goes, he knows. And she said... he says you already know him. It's just not the right timing yet. So I don't know. Apparently I already know this person.
That would make me crazy.
I know. Isn't that wild?
That I was like, okay. Is wild. I have to get her number.
Yeah, I'll give it to you. She's great.
such a, like,
She's
literally
great.
when I'm with Jeff and I see something, I'm like, oh wait, go back. There's a tarot card reader. Let's go. And he's like, no, we are not doing another one of those things. I'm like, I just love it so much.
She's really a beautiful, beautiful soul. And like I said, like the minute she started talking, it was things that no one knows except for me. Like things I've said privately to Nick. She was like, Nick heard you. He says this in response. And I'm like,
Amanda, stop it.
Yeah, crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I want to talk about your children's book.
Yeah.
So tell me about it. What inspired you?
So Tell Me Your Dreams is a little story that I wrote based off of a bedtime routine that Elvis and I were doing at the time. You go in phases with your child with their bedtime routine.
Yeah.
And this was when Elvis was 2 and he was obsessed with trash trucks and obsessed with trains and the beach and all these things. And so basically we were sitting in our rocking chair and I'm constantly trying to think of ways to connect Nick with Elvis because Elvis was 10 months old when Nick went into the hospital, a year and 1 month old when he died. He doesn't have any memories with his dad, you know? I mean, maybe they're like deep, deep in there, but obviously it's not like, if you lose somebody at 6 or 7, right? So I started in my head thinking, if I start telling Elvis stories of, things that Nick and Elvis get to do in his dreams, it would be like a fun way of him like thinking it's like his time with his dad. So I just thought of this idea. So I'm with Elvis and I said, do you want me to tell you your dream you're going to have tonight? And, he was 2 and yeah. Okay. So I just start making up this big dream that he's going to go to sleep and all of a sudden a trash truck's going to come into his room and Dada's driving it and he's get in and they go on this wild adventure. And so then every night it was a different dream. It always pretty much started with the trash truck arriving in his room and Dada was driving it, but then, whatever happened. And so then Elvis, as he got older, would start inserting like his own opinion. I would say, well, what color is the trash truck? And he would change the color every day. And, okay, when the trash truck starts flying in the air, where do you go? And he would, make up a different place every time. So it was like became this interactive thing that we did. It always ended with Dada putting him back in his crib and saying, I love you. And then I would always say, what do you say? And he started going, I love you, Dada. And then I would put him in his crib and I would walk away and I would just like hold my heart and start crying in the living room, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's so I had all these children's book ideas that I thought of when Elvis was born, way before I ever was an author of any other sort. Because I just, kids inspire you. You become a mom and, you're doing all sorts of crazy things and rhymes that you never thought of or did before, right? So I had wanted to pitch children's books to my publisher that did Live Your Life. So we were on the phone. I was pitching all these old ideas that I had when Elvis was just a baby. And then the last one, I was like, and then this one, I don't know. I just started doing with Elvis, but it's this story about like I tell him his dream every night. And I pitched it to him like a cold pitch. And he goes, that's it. That's the book. And so then we turned it into a book. And it's like, I just love it. I love that little book. And I love that Elvis will always have it as like a way, a memory to connect it. But I also think that it can be for anybody, if you've lost a grandparent or a parent or a sibling or a friend, it's a great way for adults to talk to children about death, like let's meet them up in their dreams tonight. Like, where are you going to go with your sister? Where are you going to go with grandpa? Blah, 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 blah. Because it's hard to talk to kids about death, as we were saying before. So it's kind of an introductory way also to talk to your kids.
That's
Thanks.
so, I mean, you could literally use it if you lose a pet.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
It could be
exactly. Anything. And you just, tell them a bedtime story about what they're going to, what amazing dream they're going to have with that person or pet.
Yeah.
Every night. The journey that I've been on in healing from after losing Nick. Basically, I've done lots of different kinds of therapies, some very traditional and some very non-traditional. And I'm wanting to talk about all of them because they've all helped me in either small ways or huge ways or ways that I've recognized in retrospect. And I just want to write it to encourage people to think outside the box on therapy these days. There's so many options. It's not traditional talk therapy can be super helpful, but it's like, I feel like when we were kids, like that's all the kind of therapy you would ever hear about. You go to somebody's office, you sit on a couch and you talk to them.
Yep.
And that didn't work for me. So I was wanting to expand that and hopefully help people that think that that's the only way to therapy and heal, and show them that there's a bunch of other ways that you can go about it.
Yeah, and I tell my kids this all the time. It's, whether going through a difficult time, especially right now with my 13-year-old, it's like we have everything we need inside of ourselves. Sometimes we don't have to pay someone $300 to just talk. All we need to do is maybe just go for a walk.
Yeah.
Like observe nature or dance, like there's so many beautiful things that you could do to heal, that we just have to just explore and be open-minded to those things.
Yeah. And just be free. Like allow yourself the opportunity to think outside your box and to just be scared for a second and see what you can take from it. I mean, a lot of these things that I've done are bonkers. A lot of times I've left the therapy session and I've gone, well, that was a waste of money or a waste of time, or woo, she was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And then a month later, I'm like, oh, and something dawns on me and I realize how it connected and how it helped. And it's like, oh my God, I'm so glad I did that. I'm so glad I took the risk. I'm so glad I tried.
Yeah. I love how open-minded you are, because it's like grief is not just one cookie cutter type of formula.
No, either is healing.
Right.
And I think healing from grief is an ongoing journey. The healing process never stops. You don't get a certificate at the end of a year. You don't get a trophy saying you did it. You're healed. Ta-da, you're healed. And this is never going to hurt you ever again. It's not how it works. You have to continually work on healing. It is a journey for the rest of your life. And the minute you start thinking, oh, I'm healed from that, then you're stunting your own growth. I just don't ever think healing is a verb. Like it has action and it keeps moving forward.
Right. And there's been so many times in my life where I go to my psychiatrist, Dr. Amen, and I'm like, okay, I need to up my medication. I'm having severe panic attacks in the middle of the night. And he's like, well, let's talk about what else you're doing. And he's, like medication is just not, and I've learned this over and over again, because my generation, we want these quick fixes and we want them now. It's like, it's not just medication. That's a part of the pie if it works for you and that's the route that you choose to go. But it's so many other facets of healing, right? And it could mean so many different things. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I really appreciate you coming on and just being so, like, just being hopeful and light and
well, thanks.
You're an angel.
Me. You're an angel. Good luck to the podcast. Yay.
Thank you. Thank you so much for tuning in today's episode. Having Amanda on was so amazing. It's so great to finally see her and meet her in person and have her here with me just to talk about grief, mental health, raising kids, finding love again. It was really an inspiring and amazing episode, and I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did, and I will see you all next week.
Yay Networks.